As the weather turns cooler, there'll be less and less people.
Mm-hmm.
Rumor boy.
They'll be out there filling up every.
Yeah.
I suspect.
That'll be Thursday.
Oh, at the Q&A session.
So there will be probably, yeah.
And it's at 4:45 on Thursday, right?
Correct. In the town hall.
Yeah.
We were talking pretty late. Could you hear us pretty good?
I didn't watch.
Did you? Because I was
Right, we were talking to each other.
just like Amy and I were talking just real light, and then you said, is it at 4:45? So you must have heard us.
I didn't hear you. Oh, you mean talking about the meeting?
Yeah.
Yes, I
On
heard
Thursday.
that. I'm sorry, you guys. Take it easy on me.
Never.
Okay.
Heard you when you were talking about.
Here. Well, Michael,
Before we start, do you go over to those meetings, the WTA meetings? Yeah.
He did, yeah.
You ever run across John Naira? Not that I'm aware of. He's the chairman of Town of Barksdale.
I know a couple people from Barksdale, but I haven't done.
You know John, I mean, John's kind of, tell him I said hi if you go across.
What did he look for? But
He used to own Frenchie's in New Washburn. He's kind of a small figured guy.
I probably would. It's probably.
There's usually not many people there, are there?
There's not many people there from Ashland County.
Like yesterday, there was the town of Pilsen. Most people don't even know where Pilsen is.
that's where it usually is, right? Yeah. They're always in Pilsen. That's the headquarters.
Yeah, yesterday I was there and someone from Rango was there. The only people from Ashland County unless you want to. Highway commissioner
Huh?
lives in the town of Elliott Bayfield, so he's always there. But no, it's almost all Bayfield towns. Yeah.
Every once in a while, they get a good people or,
Probably 30 people or less.
was there?
Hmm.
Oh, wow. Quite a few.
It's my enough.
I
I
was
did.
just playing dodgeball with the kids, so I'm like really warm. Here was like, oh,
Okay.
Did you turn it down?
I did almost immediately. They're a bit rammy this time of year. They don't get outside as much.
Oh, yeah.
So when I get them for gym, it's like.
Tony, no.
That's her dog. Got her puppy and. Yeah. Getting in the mist.
Yeah, I see them back now.
What?
Let's get started.
Okay. And the wheels of the bus goes round and round.
Michael, you might have to take him out to the summer kitchen or something. He's barking.
He's not talking to you.
Oh,
He's barking.
take you out. Take you out. Gotta go to the bathroom.
Even when
Take you
Yeah,
out.
he's barking really bad right now. He's
Way
probably
too
gonna
barky.
have to something with you, if you could do something with him? Oh,
I
okay.
know, I'm
What kind of dog is it?
Rat.
Hi, dog.
terrier.
so tiny.
It's called a rat. terrier. That's what.
He's a rat terrier, and in the 1920s and 30s, they were the #1 farm dog. And then they almost were killed off because that was when rat poison became very popular. So they were eating poisoned rats. So they're kind of a rarish breed.
Are they like to keep animals keep animals away or something?
Animals and rats and mice and, small animals. And plus they're quite the barkers.
Well, we are at 4:45 PM on Tuesday, November 28th, 2023. I will call this regular town board meeting for the town of La Pointe in order. Take a roll call. Mike Anderson,
Here.
Amy Baxter,
Here.
Brenna,
Here by Zoom.
and thank you, Samantha Dobson.
Here.
Glenn Carlson here, also our town clerk and our town administrator, as well as members of the audience. And with that, is there any public comment? Okay. Next item is administrative reports. Everyone's had a chance to look at Michael's report. Are there any questions or comments?
Did you learn anything good in the association meeting? Did you learn anything good in the council?
A lot of it was Bigfield County oriented. They're doing some interesting things as far as like funding for outdoor activities, funding for EMS departments in the county. They have a piece of software that tracks, that will basically scrub websites like Airbnb and VRBO and dozens of other their lodging marketplaces, and they can track, who's advertising what in the county. Yeah, it's a lot of Bayfield County stuff that we can't take advantage of.
How did the interview go with the treasurer?
We'll get to that, and that's under item 5.
Yeah, we have another agenda.
Yeah, and that was Carol and I did the interview.
Oh, okay.
Any other questions or comments from Michael on his report?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
on the airport, you said that you and Paul met on November 15th. You met Mark Bukowski. So what became of that? Anything?
He had never been to the airport. He's a relatively new BOA representative. He will be involved in the terminal rehab project from the BOA perspective, and he just wanted to see the building and see the site.
Okay. Basically meet and greet.
Yeah, just kind of get his own picture of what possibilities are with the structure. I would say he agrees with us that there's no reason to build a new structure, that there's certainly plenty of options by just rehabbing the existing structure.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from Michael? Do we have unanimous consent to place it on file?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Next, Public Works, Road, Stock, Harbor. Anything? Nothing? Parks? Nothing?
No, I mean, if you haven't seen, they poured concrete to create ADA accessibility to the rec center pavilion. Weather finally cooperated enough that they could get concrete poured. That's about it for now.
Well, make sure Jim Peters is aware of it. I know he's been pushing for that for years. So, thank you.
When he comes back, we'll let him.
Okay, good enough. Next item, committees, planning and zoning. We have the rental ordinance back on the agenda simply because that's what we talked about at the last meeting. I will say I've had the opportunity to go and parse the word by word, section by section between the old, the current, and the proposed. And we've heard a lot of comments. I think that there are a lot of opportunities to refine. I know the TPC has put a lot of work into this. I think that before we go to another public hearing, I think that we should make some changes, and I'd like to have the opportunity to talk with the members of the work group, the TPC work group, as well as some of the stakeholders like Madeline on Vacations, like David Elin, who was here at the meeting, like Clayton, and see if we can't come up with something that is probably not going to be exactly what everyone wants, but will hopefully minimize the overall displeasure with what it is that we come up with. So I'd like to just throw out that that's my plan and come back to the town board with some suggestions of what we consider based on those conversations, and we can talk about that then. And you know, it's open session. And then come up with something that we're going to bring, because I don't feel comfortable right now bringing the existing proposal to another public hearing to hear basically the exact same thing that we heard before, without the benefit of the town board's involvement in making some tweaks.
So what you're saying, or let me get this straight now, because I think last time Michael said that the planning and zoning people don't want to have another hearing, right?
This would be a town board hearing.
So what you're saying is that you would like the town board to listen to these people and see what they have to say?
After we've had a chance to look at this ourselves, and I'm going to go talk to the folks that I mentioned, if that's up, you know, if the town board is good with that. I think it might be more constructive than having it take place in just a public hearing and kind of push people on what is really the most important thing for them.
Do you need just a consensus on that, or do you need a motion? Because you're basically wanting us to say, yeah, we're good with you doing that, or no, we're not good with you doing that, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
So do we need a consensus or a motion on that?
I think just a consensus.
I have my problem is that I don't want the planning and zoning people to think we're trying to override them. I don't want that at all. I mean, they worked hard on this project.
Right.
And I don't want them to get the feeling that we're stepping in as a town board to say, oh geez, no, we talked to these people and we want to squelch, because there's 4 pages difference. They erased there's 4 pages between the old ordinance and this one. So that's a lot of things they took out.
Oh, if you just look at it that way.
Public hearings, yeah.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of things they took out.
So there was a lot of repetitive stuff in there.
But I'm just saying that if I'm getting what you're saying correctly, I would think that 1 or 2 of that committee, that group, should be involved to say.
That's what he said. He wants to meet with them and the.
Yeah.
But didn't you say that they didn't want to do that?
So the work group, there's 2 members of the TPC who have been a work group with the zoning administrator and occasionally with my involvement that went through the various drafts of the rental ordinance. That work group is continuing to work on revisions to the zoning. So they meet every Tuesday. So the opportunity for Glenn or some other board member to meet with them to discuss the board's concerns or your individual concerns with the current draft still exists. I mean, I don't want to speak for the TPC, but I believe that they understand it's the town board's ability and authority to pass an ordinance that you believe is best for the community. They have obviously come up with 3 different approaches that have, moved back and forth depending on what they've heard. I believe they believe that they've heard pretty much everything the community has to say, and they passed an ordinance that they believe to get through the DPC.
So you're saying you don't want to meet with the planning and zoning committee, you want to meet with those 2 people?
Yeah.
Okay, that's solid. I just wanted to get it straight in my head.
Yeah.
I don't want
and
that.
with Ed,
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I think we've heard, but I think that there is room to thread the needle a little bit more in a way that is going to result in hopefully more happiness with end result.
What time of day does the work group meet?
Typically 9 AM on Tuesdays.
We could meet another time. It would work better for you.
No, I have one thing that I would like
Okay.
added, so if you could bring it up to them, if you agree with what I say. But I think that dormitory and student housing needs to have a number of nights. I don't think that.
Hmm.
You know, like say some yoga studio starts up here, or. I don't think Misa should have dormitory privileges, I think they should have short-term rental. Cause it's weekends or week-long or
Mhm.
whatever, I think a dormitory is when you stay for the summer. It's not staying for a week class. And I just think that they're in that section, there should be a number of nights listed,
Okay.
but that was my only.
Okay. Well, that's a whole new issue too. So thank you. No,
Well,
that's good.
why I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because it's a different issue
Yeah.
than what you're going to talk about.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you.
I believe that's an issue that the work group is actually considering as part of the zoning ordinance.
Oh, okay,
But, you know, there's a lot of overlap.
right, okay.
Yeah, and there may be things in the rental ordinance that should really be just in the zoning ordinance and, you know, I mean, we can look at all of that stuff as well. So is there a general consensus, Sue?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I will move forward. I plan to meet with them next Tuesday morning, and have an initial discussion. Okay, the next item on the agenda is an RFP for building inspection services. This is the contract that James Price has had for several years. And we are at the stage of feeling like it is time. It's been about 5 years since I think the last time that we did this. And so this is a request for proposals for building inspection services, and it's pretty extensive. And there are some things in here that are sort of maybe a little new to people, but we want them to meet with the town staff at least once a year. The zoning administrator, and also to have an annual meeting for contractors and property owners to give updates on the UDC, and also to now you might have to, you know, edit it, but also for them to write one article a year for the Island Gazette on the UDC and building code information. So just so you know that those are in there. I probably haven't been in prior RFPs for this position. Was that?
A lot of these ideas were actually discussed by this town board back in 2018. I don't know if they actually made it into the RFP, but they never made it into the contract. There was actually no revision to the existing contract.
I think it's
So,
great.
You know, we've tried to go back, Scotty and I's tried to go back and see what town board's desire was for this position and work those kind of things back into the requirements.
Good.
To build in a little, you know, better, back and forth between our hired person and
Communication.
So is there the assessor and the building inspector are the only two people that we use this for?
You say this, you mean RFP?
Yeah. For the request for proposal, but not a contractor, not a contract to build a building or something. Talking about somebody who's contracting for services. So it's the assessor and the zoning or the building inspector that we do that with.
To the best of my knowledge, that's how. I mean, for town attorneys, for example, I've done independent research and found out who is available, you know, sought recommendations, that kind of thing, but we've never put out enough attorneys, for example.
And do we have, I cannot find it anywhere. Do we have like a set, like a number of years before we do this again? Or do we just say, I think it's time?
3 to 5, it said, and just.
Well, you know, best practices, you don't do this for longer than 3 to 5 years. So it's 5 years now. We would put in a contract, we would put a termination date, just as we do with any other contract.
I guess that's what I'm saying, so they know, like whoever has the contract, they know that next year this is gonna be coming up, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it would be, again, my intent would be that we propose a 3 to 5 year contract. But not longer than 5 years.
No,
Okay, is there a motion to approve sending out this RFP?
I have a quick question.
Go ahead.
Is James Price retired now?
No, he actually in 2018 said he intended to retire within a couple of years. He has not. Earlier this year, I asked him what his plans were. He intends to keep working. He has a heads up that, you know, we're gonna put out an RFP for the position he currently holds. He's aware of it. He sounds like he intends to respond. So I don't think he has any plans of retiring at this point.
Well, I think maybe the motion, what did we say for 3 to 5 years? So that would mean that it could be 3, 4, or 5, correct?
Right, my intent was simply to put out an RFP, see what kind of response we get and handle the length of the contract. Based on what we and the respondent felt was a good length of time.
no
Okay,
more than
thank
5
you.
years.
I'll make the motion that we approve the request for proposal for building inspection services.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Right,
Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next item, committee minutes. We have a few sets of minutes. Folks have received. Are there any questions or comments on the minutes?
yeah, I have a question
Go ahead.
that maybe Michael or Alex can answer. What is the difference? I'm sitting there reading the library minutes, and you've got the circle of friends, and then you got friends of the library. And I was sitting there trying to decipher the two. What is the difference?
Again, the library operates independently. I don't attend their meetings. My understanding is the Circle of Friends is the name of the group or the committee that the library board is appointing to serve as the quote-unquote friends group. So
They're the same.
friend of the library is a generic term. Circle of Friends is the name of the committee the library board has appointed. Serve that function for the man.
It may be that there's something in the minutes that makes it sound like they're separate.
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah, they do probably call them different things in the minute.
I don't
That's-
think they're different.
I think they're the
I
same.
believe they're the same thing.
I couldn't, I was trying to make heads or tails of it.
Yeah, they say the same, it's using the same thing.
Is that what you're getting out of it?
Yeah, that's how it reads.
Yeah,
Again, they're pursuing a somewhat unique approach. In my experience, most friends groups, actually independent organizations, this friends group will be actually maybe appointed by the library board. So there's a direct reporting relationship, and often is the case.
Is that the reason to do it in-house in a way?
I
To create-
I have
okay, yeah,
no
fair
idea.
enough,
I mean,
fair enough.
you know, inside is, as far as reading what thinking in the library. I don't
Okay.
attend the meetings, and I don't really know what the rationale for this approach is.
My understanding, Sam, is that the people who created this friends group begin with people who have been on the library board, but because of the residency requirements can't, and they are very happy, it seems, with the direction, the current direction of the library and how the library board would spend money that they are raising, and want to keep this as simple as possible. So that's,
Appreciate that.
yes. And this is Michael was very helpful to help them understand that the simplest thing that they could do was to simply be a committee of the library board and have a designated fund that the town maintains,
Cool.
like we do for,
Mhm.
you know,
Mhm.
we've got how many designated funds for the library already?
20. I don't know.
So, you know, it'd be 21 now. Okay. Okay, so, any other questions on the minutes? As everyone knows, we have a Q&A this Thursday. It'd be great if people could attend on the, Harbor Commission's, proposed purchase of the ferry line assets. Okay, moving on, Town Hall Administration Budget Summary Report. Was there a motion to approve the budget summary?
I'll make a motion to approve budget summary report as presented.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Hey,
Opposed? Motion carries. Next is the joint powers agreement relating to the Ashland County Emergency Services System, emergency system rather. And you have that.
I will make a motion to authorize the town chair to go ahead and sign the agreement between us and Ashland County for the joint powers agreement. Yes, sir.
Okay, clear second. Moved and seconded, any discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries. Next treasurer appointment. So Carol and I did interview an individual who had applied for the treasurer position this morning. Wonderful person. I think is going to be a great asset to the island. Unfortunately, they have very, very limited financial experience. And so Carol and I both are of the opinion that we should ask the town board to repost for this with, I think, an open-ended, you know, we will keep it open until filled, so that we don't have to come back and do this again. And so we need a motion to that effect.
Real quick, are we doing as a town any reaching out to potential people? Are we posting this anywhere? Oh, what's the process
It's
for?
on the website. I I didn't post it in the paper because I think the treasurer has to live on the island.
Yeah,
So I can't put it in the
Okay.
paper. So it's just on our website.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, that's a big limiting
Word
factor.
of mouth.
yeah.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Yep.
We could send out a text. The treasurer position has been reposted. Everyone would get that then.
Mhm.
If that's.
Split that.
And we'll just keep our fingers crossed. But again, the candidate was really top notch, except for.
Limited financing.
Yeah.
Well, what have we thought about what we're going to do when Carol's time expires? I mean, that's gonna, don't look at me, but I mean,
We're gonna, I believe we'll find somebody.
okay.
Winners are long. Some of
Yes.
someone's gonna. Yeah.
So, okay, any other comments or questions on that? Do we have a motion?
Motion.
We need a motion.
To repost the,
Okay, do we have a motion to repost?
I'll make a motion that we post the trailer.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, vouchers.
I will make a motion to approve the vouchers in the amount of $62,563.73.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, alternative claims.
And I will make a motion to approve the alternative claims in the amount of $125,587.34.
Second.
Second, moved and seconded, any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, treasurer's report.
I'll make a motion that we approve the treasurer's report with a checking account balance of $1,944,929.43.
Been seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, minutes. We have 3 sets, November 14th, regular and special meetings on November 20th and November 22nd.
I make a motion to approve the regular town board meeting minutes from 11/14, special meeting minutes from 11/20, and special meeting minutes from 11/22.
Or second?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, emergency services. A, fire department. Permission to sell their F-250 pickup truck.
Did, what's the questions?
Oh, yeah, either motion or
Did
question.
we make we'd use the state auction thing for selling things and it was quite successful.
Mhm.
So are they gonna do that for the fire truck too, the F-250?
I have no idea what their plan is for selling. They first need permission from you.
Well,
We can make it conditioned on using that.
what do you think? I would like to see,
Well, on them.
yeah, we've done very well on that site that Evan got us connected with or whatever. And I think we should persuade them or ask them to use that site again. It worked pretty good for the police.
Is there a motion to that effect? To approve them posting this on the state auction website?
Well, I don't know the rules. Maybe they can sell it to whoever. I don't know what the rules are.
Well, I think the fact is, I mean, that if it's on the auction website, there's really no question about it. It's fair. Everyone's had a chance to bid on it and there's no, chance that someone didn't know about it. So I think that that's probably a good thing.
I don't want to limit them. I don't want to say that's the only place they can do it, but I was just asking if
Well,
that's.
my understanding is if you put it on that site, you have to sell it to that.
You can put in a
Minimum,
reserve.
You can put them,
Yeah.
minimum bid, but if they meet that minimum bid, you have to, because it's an auction, you have to sell it to that.
I guess what I'm saying is I'd like to know if they had something else in mind. Which you don't know. And if you don't know, I don't know. So,
By they, you mean the fire department?
yeah,
Do you
if they
need
had
a-
something else in mind of that F-250 that they want to sell.
do you
Like
need a-
someone they wanted to sell it to.
Yeah.
Well,
Or another department. A lot of times they keep it within departments.
do you
We were
need a-
treated pretty.
Do you need us to postpone this till the next meeting and get that answer for you?
No,
For
I
us?
mean, I just asked the question to see if somebody knew. I don't know the answer. I think that the state auction is the way to go if they don't have a different, maybe they want to give it to Barksdale or sell it to Barksdale. Maybe they already have plans. I don't know. I don't want to interfere with those plans if that's the case. That's what I'm saying.
So I'll make a motion that we approve the fire department to sell the truck with the recommendation that if they don't have any other plans, to put it on the auction.
Second that.
moved and seconded. Any discussion?
By any other plans, doesn't that get us into where they could be like selling it to like a favorable person that they really like?
Yeah.
Could we, if we're good with that, I mean, because I thought this came up kind of because of the fact that we did well in making money for the town when we sold on that site. And so I kind of almost feel like it needs to be either or. That's why I suggested possibly postponing this if you wanted an answer. We might not have all the answers that we need to make the motion. I mean,
Well, I'll entertain a motion to defer this then.
I got a different suggestion. I would make a motion to approve them selling it like we have in the past on the state auction thing. And that's it.
So
No,
you're
no
making
other-
an amendment to the motion that,
Yeah, I'm just saying, give them one option. That's the option.
okay, is, so,
You're just hanging on to it forever.
yeah, do you either want to amend your motion or we'll have a
I'll
vote?
second his motion.
Okay, so we'll go with that. You're good with that? Okay, so we're going to say they have to use the state auction site that we used before. And if that's a problem for them, they'll come back and let us know.
Yeah, I guess
Okay.
that's what I'm saying.
So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is this MOU with Ashland County for e-dispatches. It's different from the emergency services.
Right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Is,
And $400 and some dollars.
is this just for the year?
Right, the annual.
It's really important because they leave their radios everywhere, but they never leave their cell phones anywhere. It's a good spending of our.
Yeah. Is there a motion? Motion to approve the MOU.
The MOU with Ashland County to get e-dis.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Is this another one or something? It's already signed by Rick.
Yeah, he jumped.
Say it's already signed.
We haven't done it yet.
Okay. All right, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That takes us to public comment B. Any public comment? Oh, Charlie got his hand up first.
Bear with me. In your discussion of the rental ordinance and your idea of talking to stakeholders, who makes the determination who a stakeholder is? The reason I say that is you had a pretty vocal group at the public hearing back in August, and a lot of people had, strong opinions one way or the other on certain subjects in there. I think really the only fair way to handle that is to have a public hearing, whether it's you guys or the TPC, whether they like it or not, because you're gonna let somebody not get another say or another crack at it, and they're gonna be kind of pissed off at somebody, you guys or whatever. And I think really having another public hearing is the only way to handle that equitably, in my opinion. Yeah, if you want to go back and talk to the TPC or the TPC steering group as another intergovernment entity, I have no problem with that. But you start picking and choosing certain people to talk to, are they gonna sway the final decision one way or the other? Hard to say, but it does lend to that appearance.
Okay.
That's my concern.
Sure. Thank you, Charlie. Paul?
Second, what he said, and to that I'll add, who do you interview? The people that pass the smell test? And I have two other things to state. Mike, in the past, the town board has a long history of overriding the town planning commission, and before that, the zoning and planning committee. Past zoning and planning committees and TPC boards also put a lot of work in making recommendations, but they're totally ignored by the town board. And number two, Amy, please note that MISA can only house teachers and enrolled students. Their housing isn't allowed to be rented out to others as per their CUP.
Thank you, Paul. Okay, any other public comment? All right, the next item is liquor and operators licenses. Anything on that? No? Next is lawsuit and legal. I don't think we have an update.
Unless you want to make any decision. Following on from last Wednesday's discussion, post meeting discussion with the attorneys, there's nothing. From our.
Probably not. Yeah.
I think we're not gonna make a decision tonight. Okay. Thank you, Michael. Next, new agenda items for future meetings.
If you get the opportunity to ask the fire department or somebody about what they had, what their plans were for that. I mean, it's a curiosity. We doubled our money for the police car on that site. So I'm just saying, if they thought it was worth, $1,000 and they get $7,000 for it, hey.
They should be happy.
Yeah, well, we should be happy.
Yeah, Yeah,
Should we put the community opportunity fund on here? Do you think that's looking promising?
I haven't had a chance.
On a future agenda, okay. Cause it's December
So
22nd,
it
we have
should
a
be-
couple more
should be
meetings.
on the agenda. Should be on the agenda.
Okay, just in case.
yeah, and probably the rental ordinance we should put on the agenda also. And despite what other people may think, I'm going to continue with my plan of who I'm
But your
going to.
plans also said a public hearing,
Yeah.
Yes.
so it was doing what they said,
Yeah,
it's just
Yes. Yeah.
fine tuning first.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Trying to have more give and take on a one-on-one basis with some of these stakeholders than you really are able to do in the context of a public hearing.
Yeah.
So,
So
okay,
we have the ordinance on there. Should we also have schedule a public hearing on there if if we do pass that?
you mean put that on the agenda? Yeah, I think that might be reasonable to put on the agenda also to schedule a public hearing on the rental ordinance.
I mean, we can always say no if we don't decide to accept it. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
we'll see what the timing is, but I think that there's a desire at least to get this done as soon as possible. I know Ed wanted it by the end of the year. I don't know if that's doable, given some of the other things that we need to get done by the end of the year, like maybe buying a ferry line. And by the way, that brings up, Michael Kukta and I talked about this today. The plan is that we will spend time on the comprehensive plan in January, and hopefully be able to nail that down.
Great.
Probably mid-January, but it's kind of depends on when we get the maps and the TPCs.
Contractually, the maps are due from the planning commission, the West Region Planning Commission by end of the year, so that will give the TPC a chance to look at it at their first meeting in January, and then it would be free to come to the town board and you can do as you wish with the entire plan, not just the text.
Right, thank you.
There's no future meetings, but I was gonna ask. Could probably ask after. Are we done with our budget books? Bring them back.
Oh, you mean the detailed ones versus
Our
the
big budget books.
binders?
Your decision.
Oh, I brought mine back
I wanna get mine out of my house.
Yeah,
I was gonna ask that question.
tell her that you'd like to exchange it for next year a thinner.
Well, if he brought hers back, I'm bringing mine back.
Okay, anything else for future meetings? Okay, next item is motion to adjourn.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you all very much.
Have a good night.